If you're moving to Charleston thinking I'll just waltz into a $100,000 job, baby, we need to talk. Because what I'm about to tell you could save you from making a very expensive mistake. Hey there, I'm Shakima Chatman, your Charleston and Summerville relocation specialist. And if you're researching jobs in Charleston, South Carolina, before you're making your move, you're exactly in the right place. Today, I'm giving you the straight, no chaser truth about what the job market really looks like here in 2026. And trust me, this is information your recruiter probably won't tell you. Here's what's happening. I talk to relocators every single week who've fallen in love with Charleston's beaches and that low country lifestyle, but they haven't done their homework on the employment situation. Then they get here, reality hits, and suddenly that dream move turns into a financial nightmare. Look, Charleston's job market has some incredible opportunities, but it also has some very specific challenges that you need to understand before you pack that moving truck. So let's break down exactly what you're walking into. First things first, let's talk about who's actually hiring in Charleston and what industries dominate our economy. The Charleston region's employment landscape is built on 6 major pillars, and understanding these is critical to your job search success. Healthcare is our largest employment sector, and baby, it's not even close. The Medical University of South Carolina, MUSC, is one of our biggest employers with over 17,000 employees. We're talking doctors, nurses, administrative staff, IT professionals, researchers, and support services. Roper St. Francis Healthcare is another major player, and with our aging population, healthcare jobs are consistently in demand. Then you've got our booming hospitality and tourism industry. Charleston welcomed over 7 million visitors in 2025, and that tourism economy creates thousands of jobs in hotels, restaurants, event planning, tour operations, and property management. But here's the real talk. Many of these positions are seasonal or service based with lower wage scales. So if you're expecting to support a family of 4 on hospitality wages alone, you need to run those numbers carefully. The Port of Charleston is an economic powerhouse. We're talking one of the busiest container ports on the East Coast, which means logistics, supply chain management, customs brokerage, warehousing, and transportation jobs. Companies like the South Carolina Ports Authority employ thousands directly, and even more jobs exist in the supporting ecosystem. Defense and aerial space is huge here too. We've got Boeing 787 Dreamliner facility in North Charleston, plus military installations like Joint Base Charleston. These jobs offer excellent benefits and stability, but they often require security clearances and specialized skills. Technology and innovation is our fastest growing sector. Companies like Blackbaud, Boomtown, and dozens of tech startups are headquartered here. The Charleston Tech Center and Harbor Entrepreneur Center are fostering this growth. And if you're in software development, cybersecurity, or digital marketing, Charleston's tech scene is worth your attention. And don't sleep on advanced manufacturing and automotive. We've got Volvo, Mercedes-Benz vans, and a growing advanced manufacturing cluster creating skilled trade and engineering positions. Now let's talk money, because this is where a lot of relocators get a rude awakening. The median household income in Charleston County is roughly $84,000 to $90,000 depending on the source and the year of the estimate. That sounds solid on paper, but here's why that matters. Charleston's cost of living, especially housing, is still above the national average, and housing is what really stretches people. Let me break this down into some real numbers. If you're in healthcare as a registered nurse, you're typically looking at average salaries between $60,000 and $80,000 or more, depending on specialization and experience. That's solid income, but remember, median home prices in Charleston proper are still pushing $550,000 to $650,000. In Mount Pleasant, you're often looking at 600,000 to 750,000 and sometimes higher depending on the neighborhood. Even in Summerville, which is more affordable, median prices commonly fall in the 375,000 to 425,000 range depending on inventory and new construction activity. Now, let me give you a real life example so you can visualize this. If a household is earning about 85,000 a year, a comfortable housing budget following that 30 to 35% rule puts a monthly payment target somewhere between 2,100 to 2,500, including taxes and insurance. In today's interest rate environment, that often translates to a purchase price in the mid 300s to low 400s, depending on down payment. That's why so many relocators end up choosing areas like Summerville, Goose Creek, Latson, or parts of North Charleston, not because they want the longest commute, but because that's where the math works. For tech professionals, software developers in Charleston are generally earning between 75,000 and 110,000 on average. That's good income, but it's still typically 15 to 20% lower than what you'd make in tech hubs like Austin, Raleigh, or Charlotte. The trade off is lifestyle, lower congestion, and generally lower property taxes. But you need to be realistic about that pay difference when you're budgeting. Teachers and educators, baby, I'm going to be straight with you. Charleston County School District starting salaries have increased just recently, and the base starting pay is now around 58,000 to 60,000. That is a meaningful improvement. But with home prices where they are, many educators still choose to live further out, rent longer, or rely on dual incomes, especially if they're buying on a single salary. Hospitality and service industry wages still vary widely, but many positions fall in the $28,000 to $45,000 range, with management roles often landing between 55,000 and 70,000. These jobs are abundant, especially in a tourism-driven city, but you've got to stack your income strategically and budget carefully. The bottom line, if you're moving to Charleston, calculate your housing cost at no more than 30 to 35% of your gross income. Factor in South Carolina income tax. We are not a no tax state. And make sure your job offer truly supports your lifestyle goals. This isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to prepare you so you can make a smart decision before you pack the moving truck. Quick pause. If you're finding the job market breakdown valuable and you want more honest relocation advice about Charleston and Summerville, do me a favor and smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss my upcoming videos on neighborhood schools and cost of living. I drop new content every week designed specifically for people like you who are planning their Charleston move. All right, let's keep it going. Here's one of the biggest game changers in Charleston's job market for 2026. Remote work has fundamentally shifted what's possible here. If you can bring your remote job with you or you work in a field that's fully digital, Charleston becomes significantly more affordable and attractive. Let me tell you what you've got for infrastructure. In master plan communities like Nexton and Summerville, you can get fiber internet up to 5 gigabits per second. Cane Bay and Carnes Crossroads have excellent fiber availability. Downtown Charleston and Park Circle have strong connectivity options. This isn't rural South Carolina with spotty DSL. Baby, you can absolutely run a tech company, take Zoom meetings all day, or manage remote teams right from your home. We've also got a growing co-working scene. The Cigar Factory in downtown Charleston offers co-working spaces. Flagship Charleston provides high-end shared offices, and Summerville has the Ice House and other professional workspaces. You're not isolated if you need to get out of your home office. Here's my advice. If you're relocating to Charleston with a remote position that pays you California or New York wages, but you're living in Summerville where your mortgage might be $2,200 instead of $4,500, You just changed your entire financial picture. That's the sweet spot so many of my clients are targeting. But do your homework on your company's remote work policy. Some employers have started requiring hybrid schedules or they're adjusting compensation based on location. Get that in writing before you move. And if you're planning to job hunt after you arrive, make sure you've got 6 to 12 months of expenses saved because the job search timeline here can be longer than you expect. Now, let's talk about how to actually land a job in Charleston because the approach matters. This is still very much a relationship driven market. Yes, you'll find jobs on LinkedIn, Indeed, and company websites, but networking is absolutely critical here. Join Charleston area professional organizations before you move. Charleston Metro Chamber of Commerce has networking events. Charleston Digital Corridor connects tech professionals. Charleston Young Professionals is active for folks under 40. Get involved on LinkedIn with Charleston based groups. Show up even virtually to industry meetups. Here's something specific. Many employers in Charleston prefer candidates who are already local or who have made a firm relocation date. If you're applying from out of state, your resume needs a Charleston address. Either use a mail forwarding service or mention your specific move date in your cover letter. I've seen qualified candidates get overlooked simply because hiring managers assumed they were just fishing and not serious about relocating. Tap into recruiters who specialize in Charleston placements. Companies like LHH Recruitment, Centerfrac, and local staffing agencies know the market and connect you faster than cold application. And here's the tea. Don't underestimate the power of informational interviews. Reach out to people in your industry who work in Charleston. A 20-minute coffee chat can turn into a referral, which dramatically increases your chances of getting hired. Charleston's culture values personal connection, so use that to your advantage. Okay, let me give you some industry specific intel that could shape your job search strategy. If you're in cybersecurity or defense contracting, Charleston is golden. The military presence and port operations create massive demand for cleared professionals. Get your security clearance process started early because it can take 6 to 12 months. For healthcare professionals, MUSC is expanding consistently, and there's growing demand in geriatric care, home health care, and specialized nursing. If you've got your CCRN, ICU, or OR experience, you're in high demand. Creative professionals, marketing, design, content creation, Charleston's culture and tourism economy creates opportunities, but they're often project based or with smaller agencies. Build your freelance client base alongside any full time search. Real estate and mortgage professionals, you already know Charleston's a hot market. If you're licensed or willing to get licensed in South Carolina, there's opportunities here, but it's competitive. You better bring your A game and be ready to hustle. Education and nonprofits, we've got strong organizations like Low Country Food Bank, Charleston Promise Neighborhood, and Teach for America, but compensation is typically below private sector. These are passion driven career paths. And here's a growth sector to watch: climate tech and environmental studies. With sea level rise and coastal resilience becoming urgent priorities, companies focused on environmental engineering, flood mitigation, and sustainable development are emerging. If you're in civil engineering, environmental studies, or urban planning, this could be your lane. Listen, where you work in Charleston absolutely determines where you should live. So here's my straight no chaser advice. Before you make this move, have either a job offer in hand, 6 months of savings minimum, a remote position secured, or a very specific and research plan for your industry. Charleston will welcome you with open arms, but it won't subsidize poor planning. Do your homework, run the numbers, and set yourself up for success. This is absolutely a place where you can build a beautiful life. You just need to be strategic about how you approach the employment piece. And listen, if you need help thinking out the neighborhoods that match your budget and your job location, that's literally what I do every single day. You can call me directly at 843-532-0330. I actually answer my phone. Or download my free 2026 Charleston and Summerville relocation guide, where I break down the cost of living, neighborhood comparisons, and everything you need to plan your move wisely. Before you go, make sure you watch this video right here where I break down the best Charleston neighborhoods for remote workers. You'll discover exactly what communities have the fastest internet, the best co-working spaces, and the perfect balance of affordability and lifestyle for digital professionals. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? I drop honest relocation advice every single week to help you make the smartest move possible. Hit that subscribe button, drop a comment telling me what job sector you're in and whether you're planning to relocate with a job or search after you arrive. I read every comment and I give you personalized advice. Until next time, I'm Shakima Chatman, and I'll see you in the next video.